Is the real estate market going to crash? In this video, I'm going to talk about some predictions, what my thoughts are, what I think the experts are saying, and the truth, because I'm out there aggressively in the market. So we're going to talk about four things in this video. We're going to talk about just the market in general. Is it going to drop? What's really the prediction? The housing market specifically is what we're talking about. I do want to bring in the commercial market and how housing is affecting the commercial rental market. I'm going to talk about rates in general. I'm going to talk about the buyers. Right now there are buyers and you think they're getting smarter. I'd say they're actually operating more out of emotion and panic to get out of some of the situations that they're in, and they're willing to spend anything. Right? So I gave you a little hint on my prediction. We'll stay to the end of the video to tell you more. So do I think the market's going to crash? No, I think it might cool off just a little bit. It's a long way from there. We're still in markets, and I'm going to just say we're in the Boise Treasure Valley market, been there now for years. And not only is California, Oregon, Seattle, I have Canadians that are moving, Australians who won't, just won't live like that are actually working on work visas to get into this country. But that Treasure Valley, there's 9 towns there. It is hot, hot, hot. Just as recent as a few months ago, we had houses on the market for 400. We kind of intentionally got out of contract and put them back on the market for 600. So we're not seeing any huge, decline. There's going to be some cooling off. And the part of that too is on the other side. Material costs are out of control. The wood has been insane. Cement right now, because we're heading into winter months, and a lot of the asphalt plants are going to go on lockdown. There's so much going on in that category that yes, it's going to slow down. It's going to cool off. And some of the buyers are actually, even when they meet us. I know that we have some buyers in Boise, and I had some land in Texas, and they just went straight into Texas. The land is in the middle of nowhere. It has no infrastructure, but they got a great deal. And I negotiated a couple lots with them. So, it depends on the buyer, depends, who's out there. Here's what I also see that's coming in even, I'd say, as hot, if not hotter. They just want to move. There's a seller's market for where they are. So they're moving and right sizing into RVs. We're seeing that all over. There's 2,300 people waiting in line just to get a spot in an RV park. So what did we do in our team in Boise? We went and bought 2 land spots. One has 66 and the other's still in engineering, but we're between 50 and 60 units, where we're going to be renting them out anywhere between 500 to 800 a month. So massive cash flow, and to help accommodate that. But the other thing is rentals. So we're also building fourplexes. So again, we've adjusted to not doing single family. We actually just sold our last one and moving into duplexes. We have 1 triplex, and we're moving into just more apartments, because people are going to have to live somewhere. And as it gets cooler, the winter months set in, people will settle into wherever they have to, even if they have to rent. If I was out there and I was a buyer, I'd watch for a while. It is not a buyer's market. If you are looking at commercial real estate, now let's move in again to the Midwest. Always, 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 there will be, especially next to colleges and universities from as high as Ohio to Texas. Buying apartments is an amazing opportunity right now, especially if you know what to do. And we do this very cool strategy, which when you stay to the end, I'll give you a link to a blueprint of how we do what we call forced appreciated rents. So how do you force rents in an appreciated market? And how do you do it with the pandemic? And how do you do it with inflation? All those things are big variables. So I'm going to take a little moment to talk about inflation, how that's affecting people. It's affecting the real estate market a lot. And people that are renting aren't realizing that if you are a smart landlord, you're starting to move up that rent from inflation. If you're on month to month, they're moving them $50. I know some people moving them $25, and they're doing $50 to $25. Some of my clients are really aggressive, and they're going for $100 a month increases to accommodate for the inflation that's happening right now. So do I think it's going to crash? No, I don't see that. I think that the market, actually, the stock market's going to have a bigger correction coming soon than I think the real estate market is. It took a long time from 2008 to 18 for the recovery to even happen in real estate. So the markets are hot. Florida's hot. The Carolinas are hot. You just have to be really, really smart and do the right due diligence when you get into this market and have a strategy. If you don't have a mentor, a coach, somebody who can really help you, it's risky. And as far as funding, I have other videos here on my YouTube channel, EIDL loans, how to get funding loans, how to increase your business credit, your structure, all of that in his other videos. So make sure that you do some search terms and head back and honestly just binge watch my whole channel. I mean, we're way better than Netflix, I can tell you that. So while I'm here, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification that you get my videos every morning. And if you're enjoying it and you need more people in your, I'm gonna say your circle of influence to be in this conversation, share my videos. Just hit a bunch of likes and shares. All right, back to the topic at hand. Will the market crash? Let's talk about rates. So rates, let's talk about that. What are the prediction of rates? You know, it's always that risky. You know, if you're going to get in, you're going to buy, will you still have low lending rates when it comes into 2022, 23? I think so. I think it's going to follow along. It's already gone up, by the way. I think a lot of people think they're getting their loans at the cheapest rate. They're not. That was like for a minute in 2020 when they were down to 1.8 and the 2s. Most loans that I'm seeing, especially if you head to jumbo, which by the way, the new jumbo is only $425,000, which is unbelievably low for a jumbo. So that takes you another point up anyway. So you're in the 3 to 5. Still really great rates, higher than most of us have paid for most of our life, but still in that great range. So you will be able to refi. And those of you that are doing larger apartment projects or fix and flips, that is the strategy. You want to get in, you want to do your refi. By the way, if you don't have any access to funding, you have got to call our office. You got to pick up that little phone. You got to become a client and we'll help you get EIDL loans. We'll help you get funding, corporate credit, hard money loans, IRA money. There's so much money looking for real projects that can give a return. And a lot of money, you have to know, and I think this is a secret a lot of people don't tell you, money doesn't have time to do all the project work. So if you can be the project work and do the rehab and do all of the management, and they can just give you the money with some great rates, I mean, that's how I became a millionaire, right? I use hard money lending. So a lot of you need to really understand this capital structure. But again, I mean, that kind of money is so much more expensive than just getting traditional loans. So if you can use, and I'll give you my golden ticket, if you can get a property, you can use an EIDL, which is 0% interest, do the rehab, then do a refi, cash out, go again on project number 2, pay off the EIDL loan and go again, you've got a golden trend. So let me tell you a story. I'm not going to tell you their name, but they came to me and said, we want to be mentored, and we actually don't, we'll use some hard money, but we want to own it all at the end. And I think for a lot of you, it isn't a conversation that a lot of people have. A lot of people have, how do I get in conversation? And for them, they were a little bit older. And I said, well, do you want a bunch of partners that you have to exit? And then you're going to have to refi to get them out. Like, what do you want the end game to be? And they said, well, we want it to be generational wealth. We want to hand over these apartments and duplexes and houses. We want to hand over this rental income to our kids. And I said, well, then design the whole structure differently. So they went out and got very short term, like 12 to 18 month money, hard money loans. He said, well, where do I get them? There's a lot of real estate investment groups, the good old fashioned Yahoo, believe it or not. I said, go out there. There's 1,600 groups. Still in the good old Yahoo groups, a lot of millionaires in real estate, and they're still looking for projects, right? They just don't want to be the activity on the front. So I helped them learn to go find the capital short term, do projects, refi, cash them out, and go again. So a lot of you think about that end game because this couple, they made their millionaire launch in just right at 18 months. And they used very short 12 to 15 month kinds of capital, and then they refied into long positions. So what does that mean for you to go into a long position? You're going to have to find a local, small, and very asset-driven bank, meaning you don't want them to sell their loans to Wall Street. They want your loans. They want your deposits, and they actually want to continue to build with them, which means you're going to get off these online apps, and you're going to walk into a bank. You're going to meet the bank president, the lending officer, and build a strategy with them of exactly what you're going to be doing. You'll be shocked how much local banks, although a lot of you can't stand them, they help many of our couples because they refi them back out, give them the cash, and actually front the cash and lines of credit to do it again. So it does work. So for those of you interested in how do you do that? How do you do that as fast? So you can rewind me and try to like repeat and write this down. You better know how to do it because if you hit the right timing marks, you're going to get great cash. You can also restructure for cash flow. This is just a great pattern. It creates a domino to those 12 and 18 and 24 month millionaires. So you can do this. I would love to help you. I want you to click on the link in the description. That is the Millionaire Maker Blueprint. And it's the blueprint, how I became a millionaire in real estate. So join me. Join me as your mentor. Join me to coach you through the process of creating this domino towards millionaire status in real estate.